Well, the transition to a greener economy is a central theme at this year's World Economic Forum. US climate envoy John Kerry kicked off discussions. He predicted that the transition towards clean energy would not be interrupted, regardless of who wins this year's US elections. He also praised China for the speed of its renewable energy rollout. And he said the world already has the knowledge needed to reach climate goals.
We today have the available technology to actually live up to our requirement by 2030. We're just not deploying it fast enough. I'll tell you who is deploying it fast enough is a place called China, which is deploying more renewables and manufacturing more renewables than all the rest of the world put together. And I guarantee you that the amount of renewable they are now already deploying, even though they may not have changed it publicly, is going to have an impact on the date that they peak.
John Kerry. Well, André Wolf heads the Department of Technology, Infrastructure and Industrial Development at the Centre for European Politics. Welcome to DW. We just heard John Kerry there sounding rather optimistic. Are we now seeing business objectives aligning with climate goals?
I think there's a real potential that low-emission technologies could in the future initiate something like a new growth phase in the world economy. For instance, by exploiting cost-reducing learning effects of young technologies emerging over time. But what we desperately need in order to achieve this is something like a level playing field on global markets for emission-intensive goods like steel or aluminium. And the key to this, I think, is something like a global climate club between the Western economies and emerging economies, for instance, China, in order to agree on minimum standards for CO2 pricing, to invest in common funds for emerging climate-friendly technologies, and also to engage in technology cooperation, for instance, and infant technologies like carbon capture or renewable hydrogen, in order to exploit this huge potential in a competitive manner.
And it's clear that climate change is already upon us. What is it likely to mean for economies in the years ahead?
I think there are various negative impact channels the business community should be aware of. In the medium term, we should expect a more frequent occurrence of extreme weather events like storms and floods, which pose a risk to supply chains, to global transport chains, potentially leading to higher transport costs and in turn higher commodity prices, adding to inflationary pressure. And in the long run, of course, we should also observe the trend in mean temperature. Higher mean temperature will imply a more frequent occurrence of droughts in certain regions of the world, potentially also a decline in labor productivity, which can in turn spread migration waves, potentially threatening the stability of the society. So I think there are various direct or impact channels that the business community should be aware of.
Now, artificial intelligence is very much in the air at Davos this year. What can AI do to support green industries?
I think there are various promising complementarities between AI and for instance, AI-driven applications could develop new routines for better managing energy systems based on volatile renewable sources, better integrating them into established industrial systems and thereby improving their overall efficiency and reducing their system-wide costs. Another potential route could be the use of AI in the exploration of mineral resources like rare earths and lithium, which are needed for clean technologies like electric vehicles or wind turbines, which are also pretty scarce at the moment and are desperately needed. So I think by bringing the potential of these two strands of technologies together, there's a real potential that in turn we can initiate something like a new digital and green growth phase of the world economy.
OK, thank you so much for joining us. André Wolf from the Centre for European Politics.